Tell me what you need, tell me what you want, tell me what you please, tell me what you like, tell me I'm your type, tell me that we on, tell me I'm the one, tell me I'm the bomb, tell me I'm the dawn, tell me this your song, look, tell me what you want, tell me what you need, tell me I be fresh, tell me it's D&D and tell me that we next, tell me what we on, tell me I'm the one, tell me I'm the bomb, tell me I'm the dawn, tell me this your song.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Uncle Sam's Reject here, back with our FAU Dynasty mode, man. Number 2 in the nation. That's right. We moved down to number 2, even though we won out. You know what I mean? We're still sitting at 12-0, but this is our final, you know what I mean, award ceremony / final stats of the season. You know what I mean? In 6 years, it's been a great time. It's been fun, but you know what I mean? It's definitely time to move on. There's only 2 undefeated teams left in the conference. Left in the nation. So, you know, either way, we should be in the national championship game 100%. There probably isn't going to be anybody that jumps us. But, you know what I mean? Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the top 25 and what games are going to be being played here in the conference championship week. Right, so take a look at the top 2 teams that are undefeated. You got Iowa and us. Iowa will be taking on number 3 Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. Tennessee's 4, they don't have a game. Florida's 5, they have to play Auburn. You know what I mean? And that's probably the extent of teams that are going to move up. That's the coaches poll. Moving over to the BCS bowl, still more of the same. Iowa, us, Ohio State, Tennessee, Florida. You know what I mean? As long as Iowa handles business against Ohio State, then we'll be seeing them in the national championship game. All right, guys. So we're getting ready to move the week to the bowl season. Jay Will is the front runner to win the Heisman Award. Rick is the front runner to win the Biletnikoff. I'm not too sure about any other players that we have in those positions. I know Ozzie Zuniga probably is more than likely going to win the returner of the year. But after that, I really don't know who we have in a position to really make an impact and win an award. All right, guys. Boom. You see it right here. Jay Will easily walks away with the Heisman Award here in his senior season. This is the main reason why he came back, because he could have went to the league after this year. 234 for 339, 424 through the air, 86 carries for 377 yards, 55 total touchdowns, 376 first place votes, 1729 total. Also, along with winning the Heisman Award, Jay Will walks away with the Maxwell, the Walter Camp. Nick Garcia walks away with the Chuck Bednarik. Jay Will also walks away with the Davey O'Brien. Rick wins the Biletnikoff Best Receiver of the Year. Nick Garcia also wins Linebacker of the Year. Ozzie Zuniga wins Returner of the Year. And I feel like we got snubbed for, Coach of the Year. But it probably went to Iowa's coach, since they went undefeated this year. You see here 1 versus 2, the BCS National Championship welcomes number 2 Florida Atlantic Owls to Glendale. So it looks like the national championship game is going to be in the Fiesta Bowl. Coming over here, going to take a look at the All-Americans. Now that we knocked some of that out the way, of course, Jay Will's an All-American with Rick. You know what I mean? Those are the 2 guys on the offensive side of the ball. Nick Garcia is the first-team All-American middle linebacker. Our boy Matt Peterson, redshirt sophomore, is a first-team All-American corner. And our true freshman Tim Hancock is a first-team All-American strong safety. And our boy Ozzie Zuniga is the first-team returner. Moving on to the second team, we have our right guard. We got a left outside linebacker, Bobby Nichols. We got another true freshman, Aaron Robertson. We got Dale Johnson, his first year starting here. And then moving on to the freshman All-American, we have our center. We got our boy Travis Mosley. We got Justin Hodges. We got Daniel Jones. We got Aaron Robinson. We got our boy Doug Jackson, Tim Hancock. Just holding it down all together. Moving over to the all-conference. We're going to be all over this thing. There's only a few of us left. You got Jay Will, Hannett, Wright, Snyder, Mathis, Davis. Moving down to Harris, Wright, Mosley, Nichols, Garcia, Peterson, Dale Johnson, Tim Hancock, and Ozzie Zuniga on the first team. Second team, Austin Graham, Kerry Dupree, James Manning. We got Jones, Robinson, Sonier. I don't know. And then last but not least, we have our punter, Greg Jacobs, bringing in the rest of the second team all-conference players. Taking a look at the final stat leaders for the regular season, Jay Will's closest competitor was almost 500 whole yards, away from him. You know what I'm saying? With missing games earlier in the year, being hurt a lot, Jay Will still manages to throw for 4,000 yards for the first time in his career. Jack Hannon, 186 in the nation with 687 yards. Rick ended up being third in the nation in yards, but his touchdowns are what really took him over the edge. Nick Garcia is the lone, tackle leader with 51, closely followed by 50. Aaron Robinson led the squad in sacks with 4 interceptions. Sonier led the squad, and he's 69th in the nation. All right, so we already went over Jay Will's final stats, but just some things. He had 55 total touchdowns, 47 were through the air, only 10 picks, 335 yards a game, 69 completion percentage. His quarterback rating is absolutely insane, a 208 quarterback rating. He's going to be breaking his own record if he can end the season with that. His record last year for his QBR was, let's see, where's it at? His QBR last year was 203. If he can get 208 this year, he'll absolutely demolish what he did last season. On the ground, Jack Hannon led the way, had the most carries, had the most yards per carry, had the most touchdowns, followed by Wilson with 8 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns to Smith, and then Ducklings had the best yards per carry. Moving on to receivers, Rick led the squad in catches, 85, 14, 18. He was able to break D'Anthony McGriff's record of 21 touchdowns. He's in he's solely in first place with that record with 22 now. Looking to add on to that in the national championship game, 118 yards per game. Second on the list, second on the squad in receiving. In catches, we got James Swanson and Austin Graham both tied with 53. Austin Graham is the 1,000-yard receiver as well. We have 2 1,000-yard receivers. James Swanson is not too far behind with 875. Swanson had 6 touchdowns. Graham had 8. Chapin had 8. Hannon had 5. Ruff 4. Steiner 3. And Smith 2. Yards per game, Rick was the only one to get 100. Austin Graham closely followed with 90. Basically, if you round up, a lot of drops here. Rick had 6 drops. Chapin had 5. I would say a lot of Rick's drops. A lot of tough throws we throw over the middle in traffic with him being a slot man, but it's not really an excuse. He's got to be able to come up with those. Defensively, Nick Garcia led the squad total in tackles, 66 total, 51 solo. 13 for loss, 2.5 sacks. After that is Bobby Nichols with 61, and then Dale Johnson is the closest. 17 back with 46, closely followed by Aaron Robinson with 45, Tim Hancock 42. Sacks leader went to Aaron Robinson this year, tied with Bobby Nichols. Steve Wright, who was able to get, I think it was like 13 sacks last year. Only, he regressed a lot. Only picking up 3.5, but when you see you got a bunch of teammates out here getting after the quarterback, you're going to fall back a little bit. Spencer Sonier and Matt Peterson led the squad in picks with 3. Nothing spectacular. Who had the most forced fumbles? Nick Garcia had 2. Hancock 1. Nichols 1. Looks like we had 6 drops for Matt Peterson this year. 6 drops for Tim Hancock. 3 drops for Ozzie Zuniga. The forced fumbles, I know I went over that. 2 to Garcia, 1 to Hancock, 1 to Nichols. And then the recoveries went to Nichols, Gonzalez, Zuniga, and Jones. And in the return game, Ozzie man, 49 kick returns, 1,500 yards, 31 yards per kick return, 2 touchdowns on the year. Chapin also had a kick return touchdown. Zuniga was unable to take any punts back to the crib, but he still was able to make an impact, getting 14 yards of return. All right, man, so here we are taking a look at some notable bowls here. In the Cotton Bowl, you got Arkansas versus Oklahoma. Orange Bowl is going to be Georgia Tech versus Ohio State. Florida, Arkansas State in the Sugar Bowl. Who would have ever seen that coming? Texas, Cincinnati in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. You got Tennessee, UCLA in the Rose Bowl. Outback Bowl, Georgia Northwestern. Capital One Bowl, Auburn, Michigan. Hawaii, Louisville. You got some pretty good matchups here. Chick-fil-A Bowl, LSU in a down year at 6-6. They had a pretty tough schedule though. Going to be taking on 9-3 VTech. A lot of good games. Definitely be on the lookout with those. And we're going to see who's going to come out up top. You see here, Army's Bowl eligible and also ranked in the top 25, playing in the Little Caesars Bowl. All right, guys, now that we got all of that out of the way, let's take a look at how we rack up on paper against Iowa. They're actually very, very even with us. We're B plus A plus B. They're B plus A, B plus. We're the top offense in the nation. Top number 1 points per game, number 1 total offense, number 1 pass offense. They have us beat everywhere. Defensively, we are positive in the turnover differential. They're +7, we're +1. Hopefully, we can come out here and, stop them from, we can put points on the board against their defense, which we usually never have a problem with doing. We already went over our stats. Take a look at Iowa's leaders. They got a good quarterback. He's thrown for nearly 2,400 yards, 21 touchdowns, only 6 picks. They got a 1,600-yard running back with 21 touchdowns on the ground, and they have a near 1,000-yard receiver in Gonzalez with 8 touchdowns on the year. Take a look at Iowa's schedule. You know what I mean? They weren't tested nearly as much as us. They didn't play a ranked opponent until, you know what I mean, they played Michigan State in October. Then they had, you know, some light games from then. Then they played Michigan again in November. Then they were able to bump off Ohio State, you know what I mean, in December in the Big 12 championship. They're not really up to our speed. You know what I mean? It might be a massacre. I'm not even going to hold you. But we'll try to keep it as close as possible. But we also want to go out with a bang here in our final season, man. So that's going to do it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed, stop and smash that like button. Hit me up in the comment section below. Subscribe if you're new. Get ready for that natty, baby. It's going to be dropping about an hour after this video. And, you know what I mean? We're going to hopefully send our boys out on top, riding off into the sunset. It's your boy, Uncle Sam's Reject, RTGGames.com. I'm out of here. Peace.